Hey everyone, Darren Carnell here. Welcome back to my studio. If you're one of my existing followers, someone who already knows who I am and already follows my videos, I apologise for this video. It's not my fault. I was asked to do it by some of you, so blame yourselves. If you are new, if you don't know who I am, my name is Darren Carnell. I'm an artist. I live in the UK. I paint collectible statues and collectible action figures for a living to commission. Things like that Doctor Who figure there, which I've done a few of those. What happens is I get sent statues or figures, or usually just the heads from the figures, and they are usually the factory painted heads or statues, whatever they are, and I repaint them from scratch to make them look more alive, more realistic, more human, just to have that spark of life that usually toys and figures don't have when they come from the factories. So I'll take something in that case like that, which used to look like that when it came from the factory, when it came from the shops, and then I spent a week repainting it and it ended up looking like this, which has just got a lot more detail, much more realism, more layers of paint, thin layers of paint to add all of the different details, and it ends up looking a lot more human. And that's what I do. I also film everything that I paint. I've got a camera here that points down. I film everything that I paint, and I have a series of tutorials running on Patreon where people can learn how to do what I do, or to take a few tips from what I do, and hopefully to get better than me, because I'm not the best in the world. I just know what I'm doing with what I do, so people can take that and run with it and then come back and show me, Darren, I'm better than you now. That's the best thing in the world when that happens. So I just try and show people what I'm doing, and a typical head like that, one of those, which is about 1.5 inches tall, might take 15 to 20 hours, 15 to 20 videos all the way through. So you see every brushstroke pretty much from start to finish. A big statue, I did a quarter scale Clint Eastwood, that took over 50. So they can be quite long series, but you get to see everything. And with the Clint Eastwood one, that was good because people got to learn how to do a face. People got to learn how to do fabric, all of the different cloaks and stuff that he wears. They got to learn how to do suede. Part of his outfit was made out of suede. Part of it was made out of wool, leather boots, all of the different things, painting guns. There's lots of different stuff, and I just do that, and we go from commission to commission and show every series. That's what's happening on Patreon. But what has happened here, and why you're getting this video, and why not only am I looking so messy with my moustache hanging down and my beard all over the place, I have been asked by people on my Patreon and on YouTube and on my Facebook, Darren, when are you going to show us how you do your beard? Darren, how do you do your beard in the morning? What? People wanted to see it. I don't know. It's not what I normally do. So if you're looking for beard videos and you've landed on this one, I apologise, but you're going to get to see it anyway. If you are one of my normal followers and you've landed on this video, I apologise. Either way, I'm just sorry. So I've got the stuff that I normally use in the morning. I've had my shower, I've towel dried my face, I've come to my desk. It's really weird talking to camera and having all of this in front of my mouth. It's really weird because I'm normally done by now. And not being in front of the sink and the mirror when I'm doing this, when I'm doing these things. But let's get on with it. Let me just check that the video is actually recording, because I started the video before, recorded about 5 minutes, and then realised I hadn't pressed the button and it wasn't working. So yes, it's recording. Yes, the sound is on. Yes, the music is on, and hopefully that'll stay on, because that's the thing that went wrong before. Right, let's swing in this camera overhead, which I have attached to the light that I work under. Let's jump to... In fact, I can show you first. If I'm working on a thing, let's just pick up a pot of paint. When I'm working, I normally have it like this. So I'll have my desk there, and I'll be working on something, and I'll show people what I'm working on, and I'll be down in the corner to explain stuff. And then when we're doing talking, we go back to that camera. For this, I've set up a split screen so you can see what I'm showing you on the desk. Where's the focus? I change the focus sometimes if I'm showing different things on my painting work. If I want to show something up close, then I'll manually move the focus higher up so it's about there. Okay. Because the autofocus on this camera isn't brilliant, and I actually prefer to just switch it off, set it to a certain height, work at that height, and if I want to change it, then I'll just manually change the focus level. But we can see what we're doing. Whoops. I can drop what I'm doing. You can see me there, what I'm doing. Hopefully that works. So that's about here. Right. So, these things. This is what I use. This video is obviously, as you can already tell, oh my god. That is my phone. That's the alarm on my phone reminding me to take my epilepsy tablets. Such a professional video. Okay, so these are the things that I'm using. It's basically, it's Moustache. Where are we? Oh my god. Moustache wax. Moustache wax. It's too early to be doing this. For this bit, beard oil for this bit. And I don't have specific brands or types that I go for. I don't have a favorite that I go for. I've used some cheaper ones, and these are very cheap. This is very, very cheap. And they're fine. I've used really expensive ones and I didn't quite like them. They didn't just do it for me, in the way that they should. So you will find your own. Basically, read some reviews, go on Amazon, do what I did. Pick some that you think, well, people seem to say that works, and you'll try it. And if over the next few months you don't like it, you buy a different one next time. I'm not going to tell you which one to buy because that's personal preference. But beard oil, moustache wax, and that's it. So that's what's inside there. That's a hard wax. Now the waxes come in different hardnesses. Hardnesses, is that a word? Some of them are softer and you can put them on your fingers a lot easier. Some of them are really hard wax, and you'll see that in the descriptions. Beard oil, the expensive ones usually smell a bit better, and they're probably made of different things. Some of them, some of them say, oh, we don't use this, or we don't. So there'll be differences, but in terms of how they work, it's pretty much exactly the same. This one, I've bought the last couple of times actually, because one time when I was buying this, I was short of money, but I needed some, and I ordered it online, and it was £2. £2. I thought it was going to be so bad, and it was actually fine. So I ordered it again. So that works. So what you do with this one, squirt a couple of little squirts. Right, let's do another one. Sometimes they have the droppers that you squeeze and drop it on. Sometimes they have like a shaky bottle. This one has a squirty bottle. I like the squirt one because it's just easier to control. So you get that. I should have my hands lower down so you can see what I'm doing. All of my hands, and then you go on this. Now what normally happens, this is so weird doing this not in front of the sink, because it's normally the first thing I do once I'm dry, once I'm out the shower. So doing it once I'm fully dried, fully dressed, and at my desk, I'm going to be dropping hairs all over my desk. Yep, there's one. Because what happens when I do this is any loose hairs, they fall out because they're getting knocked out. And it's usually over the sink, and it catches them. I could just do this. Should we just stay like that? I think we should stay like that. Look at that. That's amazing. So I start on the sides and the front, and then I go underneath, and then I do the sides. Sometimes I'll rub my fingers through it like that to make sure it's spread all the way through. And forgive me for looking off to the side and not looking at you, but if I look at you, I'm looking at a camera, and that's no use to anyone. Now, as you could see from before I put this on, when I wasn't messing around with it, you can actually just dry your beard, roughly get it into shape and leave it, and it will, in most cases, hang down fine and it will be okay. I've got a hair in my I've got a moustache hair in my mouth. This is so weird. In most cases it'll be fine, and it was fine there, and I could have got away with just having that for the rest of the day, just towel dried, roughly brushed into shape and then left. It's okay. But this stuff does a couple of things. One, it helps you get it into shape if your beard is being a bit... Right, most people wake up with bed head. I wake up with bed beard. This is over here and it'll be over there like that, and it'll be all over the place, and it'll be up in my face, and it'll be off to one side. And when you've got bed beard, and if the shower doesn't fix it, which it usually does, hot water and just the action of using the soap and whatever pretty much straightens it down. But if your beard is being unruly and not playing the game and being a pain in the arse, oil just helps get it into place a little bit better. It's also good for it, apparently, stops it drying out. I don't know, I've never really tested it, but that's what they say. And they also say it's good for your skin underneath, because if you think about it, all of the skin under all of here doesn't really get... It's not exposed to this, like you can't put moisturiser on it or anything, it's just there. It could be drying out and you don't know. So oil on the skin, if you do that, apparently good for it. So that's what they say. I largely just use it because it helps get and keep it in place. So what I'm doing, you can either brush it down like that, and some people have beards and prefer beards that come down to a bit of a point, like a garden gnome. Some people prefer it like that, and I know my wife prefers it like that. I prefer it when it's wide. Not wide like not like that. That's like a giant spade or something. Just sort of more square to the width of my face, but like a mixture of the two. So what I'll do is I'll brush it down, I'll spread it out a bit at the front, do the sides, and then go underneath like that just to fluff it forward, because I don't want it all brushed back like that as if I'm on a motorbike on the motorway and it's all brushing back. I don't want it like that, but I also don't, and I know some people do, but I don't also want it to be really brought forward to a point like that. I don't really like that. I just like it to be somewhere in the middle, so I just mess around with it until I'm happy. And for the sake of the video and you not watching me do this for half an hour, let's say that's fine. And that's actually not too bad. I can't see that side because the screen is over there, but let's assume that that's okay. So that is my beard done. Put the lid back on. Now, for this stuff, the way I do this is put my thumb in there, use my nail, and you just scrape bits onto your thumbnail. Now, I probably use way more than most people use, and this is something you will judge over time if you are doing your own beard, doing your own moustache. That's how much I've got on at the moment. Sometimes I'll do it and I'll think, oh, that's not enough, it's not holding strong enough, or sometimes I'll do it and I'll think, whoa, that's way too much, Darren. So it's a case of figuring it out for yourself. So that stuff that I got on my thumbnail, I'll just rub that off onto my finger there, or onto my other thumb there, take a piece and rub it onto that finger. What I want, and you probably do it in different ways, but it's probably going to be about the same because we all use our hands in roughly the same ways. The first two fingers and the thumbs. So I've just got some there, I'm just rubbing it off. This is actually gone quite soft, I guess under the lights maybe, which is good. When the weather's colder, the wax is harder and it's more of a pain in the arse to work with. When it's warmer, it's softer and it's actually easier to work with. But when it's softer, that also means it can have less of a hold on your moustache. Some people just use a little bit, sorry, I was off camera there. I'm just spreading this one round on my thumb so it's all even. Some people like their moustaches just to be lightly waxed and just fall into shape. Some people like them to be really firm and held out to the sides. I'm sort of in between. I'm a mixture of the two. So I'm just taking those three, two fingers, thumb, and I'm just lightly going over the moustache. I've got a hair in my mouth again. It's a difficulty with doing it on a webcam, looking on a computer screen, not looking directly at it, not being able to go right up to the mirror like I normally do, and also doing it at a different time of day. Like it's normally right out of the shower and I can just go there and do it. And now it's been sitting for a while and I'm normally not talking. Like, why would I be talking? Unless I'm singing in the bathroom, which I don't normally do when I'm doing this. So hairs in my mouth is not something I normally have to deal with. But you can see already it's starting to shape out. And what I do is I do this for a while first. I guess on the top there. Shape it out. Start putting a bit on the ends because we want the tips to be held in place. And then what I do, once I've done that and got it roughly in place, to sort out the middle bit, because sometimes there'll be hairs that I will want to go off to the side, but they're sort of sitting down in the middle, and just doing that didn't get them. What I do is I sort of physically part it, and you can see one hair. See that hair in the middle? That's just, it's not, where is it? It's there, not playing at all. By doing this, and it's not going to stay like this, but it helps me separate any bits in the middle that aren't playing ball, that aren't going where they're supposed to. But also gives it a slightly neater look in the middle, and then I go back and do that stuff again. Sometimes give it a little twist, just to, not a lot, not to make it super twisty, but just a little twist sometimes at the ends helps hold these bits together. And this is different. Sometimes it's phases, I guess. Sometimes I like it where all the hairs are separate, and sometimes I like it where they all come to a point and you can either pull them right out, you know, off to the sides. Like, which way? It's weird doing this, not in the mirror. Pull them out to the side, you can curl them up, you can do whatever. Or sometimes people just have it, imagine get rid of those tips where it's just the main body of hair and it's a bit separate, or you can do that. If you do a little twist, it just holds them together, which helps keep the shape, helps keep the point. And then I'll usually, because I'm doing it reversed, it's not a mirror image. I'm looking at this and going, oh, that side needs to go higher. I'm doing it the wrong one. So my moustache is going like that. And I'm doing this one too high and this one too low because I'm looking at the mirror doing it the wrong way. Right, let's do it that way. So that's roughly in place. Then once you're done, your little fingers, even though there's nothing on them, are a great way to just finish off the shape because the wax is on your moustache already. So just by doing that, you can neaten it off. And if you want these to be curled up, you can do that. Also use the back of my fingers because I don't want wax on my beard. But use the back of my fingers to push down underneath the moustache to keep that flat. Because sometimes as you're doing all this, you can grab beard hairs and pull them out. And that is mostly how I do it. Now which one, where are we? This side. So this side can go a little bit higher, this side can come down a little bit lower. That's mostly close enough for considering that I'm doing it from a distance on a camera, on a computer screen that I can't see properly. That's close enough. The middle could be a bit better, but you can always adjust that later. And what happens, what you'll find, especially if you do it like this, like I do, which is sort of a mixture of pulled out and pointy too early and just gently shaped. What happens is it starts off like this, sort of quite severe, which is fine. It could stay like that all day and I'd be quite happy with it. But during the day, as you talk, as you drink coffee, as you eat, just the movement of your face, it slowly starts to settle and slowly starts to fall down a bit more, and it relaxes into a position. Now, that might be what you want. In my case, it works quite well. I like it when it's high like this because honestly it's easier to eat and drink, but in terms of how it looks, I'm happy with this or the more relaxed one. But if you don't do this, then you just end up with a walrus face, which you saw at the beginning of this video, which is just in front of your mouth, and that's no good to anybody. Unless you like that. Some people do like that. I don't. I like to have a functioning mouth that I can get to with drinks and food, because I like drinks and food. So that's it. And put the lid on and you're done. If you want to see those brands again, they're on Amazon. I don't even know if that one's called that by my beard, and maybe that is. It was £2. It was the cheapest one. You'll find it. If you search for these, you will see them on the on Amazon. I should actually put a link in my YouTube video. In fact, you know what? I'll put a link in my YouTube video to these. I'll find these for you. And then once you're there, you can look around at other things. What am I doing? Let's switch back to my main camera and get that out of the way. So there you go. That is a lot neater than it was at the beginning. And the thing is, you will, during the day, mess around with it. Or at least any time you walk in front of a mirror. The rest of the time, you'll assume it's fine, and it probably will be, and no one else will know the difference anyway. But anytime you come in front of a mirror, you'll be like, just fixing yourself, which is cool. Some people spend all their attention on their hair. Some people, like me, have been steadily losing the hair on their heads for decades, and now we focus our attention here. It's fine. It's a compromise. I can go and wash my hands now. I'm normally in front of the sink, so every time I do one bit, I'll do my hair, and I'll wash my hands, and then I'll do the beard oil, and then I'll wash my hands, and then I'll do the moustache. I'm just sat at my desk here, where I work and where I paint, so I can't do that. So there you go. That is how Darren Cornwall, the artist, does his beard, for any of you who wanted to see that. Right, I'm going because I'm hungry and I want a drink. So take care, everyone. If you are one of the people who normally follows me anyway, I'll see you soon. Take care. Hope I've got some interesting stuff to show you soon in terms of painting, not beards. If you found this video because of my beard, I hope it was a little bit useful. I know I watched videos the same when I was starting out doing all this, and I didn't know what I was doing. Videos were useful to me, so I hope this was useful to you. And I hope you find what I do for a living interesting. Go and find my website or something. There's a lot of interesting stuff on there. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Look after other people. Be nice to animals. Let's make the world a better place. And I will see you soon. Take care. Where's my button? I've not been... what button do I need to press? There you go, that one. Bye.